All right, today we're going to talk about something that is quite literally the foundation of American manufacturing. But here's the thing, most people have never even heard of it. We're diving deep into the history of tool and die.
Yeah, you could call this a secret history. It's a story that doesn't have the flashy headlines of the assembly line or the famous inventors we all know. No, this is about the folks behind the scenes, the ones who are quietly shaping the entire modern world.
And that's exactly what they are, artisans. These are the people who made mass production possible, the ones who put America on wheels, and yeah, the ones who armed a nation to win a war. They are the tool and die makers.
So what in the world is a tool and die maker? Well, think about it like this. You've got an engineer with a brilliant design on a computer screen, right? And you've got a factory worker ready to put that thing together. The tool and die maker? They're the master craftsman in the middle who builds the actual physical tools, the molds, the dies, the jigs that turn the idea into a real thing. They are, and I love this quote, the crucial link between design and production.
So that's the big question, isn't it? How did this incredibly important yet kind of hidden trade end up shaping the entire destiny of a nation? Let's trace their journey, from the dusty workshops of the 1800s all the way to the clean rooms of today. So, our story kicks off in the age of steam and iron, a time when being precise wasn't just a nice-to-have, it was a full-blown revolution. This was the dawn of precision, where a handful of pioneers basically invented the language of American industry. And you absolutely cannot talk about this era without talking about guys like David Brown and Lucian Sharp. Their company, Brown & Sharp, started way back in 1833. And they weren't just making stuff, they were making the tools that made all the other stuff. Even more important, they were setting the standards that everybody else had to follow.
And that's where their real genius was, standardization. I mean, think about it. Every time you see a wire measured by its gauge, its AWG, that's a Brown & Sharp standard. They came up with universal systems for how tools fit into machines, how gears mesh together. It meant a part from a factory in Ohio could perfectly match a part from a factory in Pennsylvania. They built the invisible scaffolding that the entire U.S. industrial machine was built on.
And they got huge. We're talking by the early 1900s, they were the biggest manufacturer of machine tools on the planet. This wasn't some niche little shop, this was a titan of industry. And they were setting the stage for the biggest challenge the world had ever seen. And that industrial power was about to face the ultimate test. This is the moment when the quiet, careful work of the tool and die maker became the loud, thundering engine of war. This is when the trade was called on to literally save the nation. Okay, get this. It's January 1942, just one single month after Pearl Harbor. The call goes out from President Roosevelt. He creates the War Production Board, and their job is insane. Take America's entire peacetime economy and turn it into a war machine. And they needed it done like yesterday.
Now, to really wrap your head around how massive this change was, just look at the auto industry. In 1941, the year right before the U.S. went all in on the war, American factories made 3 million cars. Cars were king.
And then, from 1942 all the way to 1945, you know how many cars were made for civilians? 139 total. Not a typo. The most powerful industry on Earth just stopped. It slammed on the brakes and completely retooled. And who made that happen? You guessed it, the tool and die makers, working 24/7, crafting the new dies and jigs to build tanks, planes, and ships.
And this switch was happening everywhere. The Lionel Company stopped making toy trains and started making high-precision compasses for warships. Ford's giant Willow Run plant went from making cars to pumping out a B-24 bomber every single hour. Even little companies making nails for furniture switched to making cartridge clips. Every single shop answered the call.
And the result of all this? This was the arsenal of democracy, this incredible effort where a single country produced half of all the war material for the Allies. It wasn't a miracle. It was a masterpiece of engineering, skill, and pure speed, all built on the backs of America's tool and die makers.
But, of course, the world didn't stand still after the war. A whole new revolution was coming, one built on circuits and computers. The trade that had mastered steel now had to master the digital world, or it was going to get left behind.
And that change happened ridiculously fast. It started in the 50s with something called numerical control, basically using punch tape to tell a machine what to do. Then, in '63, Sketchpad lets us draw on a screen. By '82, AutoCAD puts computer-aided design on a PC. And just 5 years after that, Pro Engineer gives us the power of 3D modeling. Just boom, boom, boom.
All that tech created the modern workflow we use today. It's a three-step dance. First, you design a 3D model in CAD software. Then, CAM software programs the instructions, the G-code, for the machine. And finally, a CNC machine takes that code and cuts steel with a precision that's just mind-boggling. For the machinist, everything changed. It wasn't just about feel anymore. It was about programming, about process. They became digital artisans.
And that digital transformation is still going on, because this story is far from over. That same spirit of innovation is now building America's high-tech manufacturing future.
I mean, the industry is just evolving at light speed. We've got cloud solutions letting designers collaborate from across the country. We have AI optimizing how machines cut metal. Additive manufacturing, 3D printing with metal, is creating tools that were physically impossible before. And the Internet of Things is turning entire factories into single, connected, smart organisms.
But here's the kicker. The tech is completely different, but the core mission, it's exactly the same. It's still about that magic of taking an idea on a screen and turning it into a solid piece of steel that can make a million more just like it. That core skill, that American ingenuity, it's more important now than ever.
So that's what I want to leave you with. As we head deeper into a world of AI and automation, where a computer can literally design a part on its own, what's the role of the human craftsman? Is that spark, that machinist's ingenuity, the ability to just look at a problem and know how to solve it, is that still America's ultimate tool? Something to think about.